Thank you for keeping in tune to your love music, love life station, Smooth 98.1 on a feel good Friday morning. My name is Ayokunmi, and it's that time to take a look at the stories in the papers, the headlines making the rounds. This is Freshly Pressed. Welcome along to a Friday edition of the show, the final one for the week. We're so thankful to have made it this far. Looking forward to all the fireworks as always, because you know how it is. We take the stories, analysis will follow, as well as your thoughts and contributions as well. Your opinions, they mean to us. So that means we look forward to receiving your messages this morning. And you can do that in more than one way. WhatsApp is the first way you can get through to us. The number is 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 That is the WhatsApp number. You can also join us on YouTube. Join the live stream right there at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Those are the ways that you can be a part of the show this morning. Leave your comments in the chat box there, and I'll take them alongside the WhatsApp messages. Joining me this Friday morning, as they always do, to Full House. You know how it is. Joseph Obari and, of course, AB Bozimo are on the call. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Great to have you on the show.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, the world. Good morning, Edith. Good to see you again.
Good morning, Sir Ayo. Good morning, Sir Joseph. And good morning to all my sirs and madams out there listening, wherever you are. Let's have a fabulous Friday together.
Yes, indeed. Let's have a fabulous Friday together. Let us end the week on, should I say, a stupendous note, really and truly. All right, let's begin our journey this morning. Now, where do we begin our journey this morning, you wonder? Let's talk about NEMA. And Joseph, I'm coming to you with this one, taking the story out of the Daily Post. Now, it says a bill that seeks to address critical issues such as climate change, adaptation, drought, desertification, flooding, coastal erosion, dam failure, building collapse, oil spills, among others, has passed its second reading on the floor of the House of Representatives. Now, the bill presents a practical step towards transforming the nation's emergency and disaster management response framework. Now, also, the emergency and disaster response mechanism contemplated by this bill is an important legislative response which meets the demands of Section 14, subsection 2, subsection B of the 1999 Constitution as amended. I'll let you take it from here, Joseph. Give us a better understanding of what this means and how it benefits everyone at the end of the day.
Well, it's something that is long overdue. I mean, after over 60 years, we are beginning to find a framework within which we can manage disaster in this country. And we are just lucky that we're in that part of the world where we don't really experience very difficult climate situations or disasters. The kind of disasters we've always faced are disasters that we could actually prevent if we had proper planning. And what's is beautiful, I mean, on paper, it's all good and well and all that, it's well-intentioned. But when it comes to practice, that's where the concern always is. I've experienced disaster management. I've experienced these kind of situations, and I know the kind of structures that the private sector put into disaster management. And if you see the robust system, I mean, for example, let's take emergency controls units, for example. We don't even have a national emergency control center, so-called, that efficiently can coordinate disaster management. So if this is well-intentioned, it's well-intentioned. At the end of the day, it means that we'll be able to deal with situations that arise, which are actually like child's play compared to what people experience in other parts of the world. If you consider, for example, the forest fires in California and all those kind of things, we are experiencing nothing here. We should be like a child's play. It should be something that we do when there is proper preemptive planning and structures in place and aware maps. I mean, I'm talking about a situation where I was in my previous career. We had, imagine that you have two emergency control centers, that if one of them is not available. The other one is available.
Right.
You have satellite communication. You have everything ever you need. In fact, it's such that if in fact those two centers can't work, you can actually operate mobile. That's how planning should be done. So you're not taken by surprise. You're not blindsided by anything. But what we have seen in disaster management, look at what NEMA is doing. NEMA is trying, given the circumstances we are in terms of government funding and all of those things. But then we can do a lot better. After 60 years, these things are not rocket science, honestly speaking. So it should go beyond just what we are saying, legislation or act. Eventually, we have an act and all that. We repeal NEMA and then incorporate all the others, and all the other issues are managed together as one. Fine, it makes it's composite. So we have a composite disaster management structure. That's the benefit of such a legislation, but it should go beyond just legislation. That is where we are in Nigeria. We make brilliant, we sometimes will copy legislations from other jurisdictions, but plan them in Nigeria.
Implementation is always an issue.
But when it comes to really walking the talk, that we are not there. Either the fund is not provided, or that the structure is sabotaged, or that when the money that is supposed to do certain things is now diverted by some individuals. That's been the story. It has been the story. Even the skeletal, whatever we have today, it's not operating optimally. So until we can begin to address all of these things and ensure that they don't creep into what we are doing, what we said structure we're setting up, then we have not started anywhere. People suffer losses. Nobody, after a while, I mean, in fact, we've had situations where disaster items were stolen by officials, government, who are meant to cater for victims, and all kinds of corrupt acts all over the place. If you visit the IDP camps, they are makeshift. They are oh my goodness. So where do you start? Where do you start?
These are the questions.
So we have to have a total reorientation of our attitude generally. Then we can now begin to talk of being able to manage situations.
Without a doubt. All right, AB, I know you have a word or two to say about this particular matter. Go ahead, please.
The only natural disasters we have in Nigeria are leaders, number one. And number two, talking of emergency, we don't even have an emergency number like 911 to call that can be relied upon. We have one number, but it may work in some jurisdictions and it may not. So we haven't really started. If we cannot get that fundamental thing, I've gone into buildings where you have this placard, nearly man-sized, with 48 possible numbers to call. That is ridiculous. Nobody's going to cram those numbers, and in a panic, nobody can remember them. So we are not yet ready to address them. I'm not questioning the merits of the bill. Yes, like Joseph has ably stated, there are lots of merits in the bill, but we have to start fundamentals, establish an emergency mentality. The first part of that will be getting a number where you can reach a reliable, responsive person or parties to deal with emergencies. That's just, I say it again, our natural disaster is the leadership of Nigeria for the past 65 years.
Talking about a number, I think back then it was it 199 or something? I really can't remember. It was
it was 199.
119.
Is it one or one?
No, there was 199.
Before then,
there you go. The fact that we're having a debate means we're not serious. Let's go on.
All right, AB. I'm coming to you right now, and we're taking the story out of the Daily Trust, where the International Monetary Fund, that's the IMF, on Thursday confirmed that Nigeria has fully repaid the $3.4 billion COVID-19 financial support it got under the Rapid Financing Instrument, that's RFI. Now, but despite the confirmation, the government is still indebted to the multilateral organization to the tune of about $30 million, which is the special drawing rights SDR charges. Daily Trust is reporting the $30 million equivalent of about 48.2 billion naira would be paid annually over a period of 4 years as charges on the loan. Now, this would amount to over 190 billion naira. The SARs, in a nutshell, are supplementary foreign reserve assets defined and maintained by the IMF, which represents a claim to currency held by IMF member countries for which they may be exchanged. AB, I mean, it's like one step forward and another step or two steps back, clearing one, but still a lot of money is to be repaid in our future. And that has been said severally that it's a big, big problem that we have with debt repayment.
You're not patriotic. Your government official just said, we have paid our loans, and came out in public, garnering headlines, at least got some popularity for a minute that he or she announced this. And then you're here to rain on the parade on a fabulous, fantastic, fun-filled Friday. This is wrong of you. It's not right.
Very, very
I'm only
wrong.
reading the news.
It is not appropriate.
I second you, AB.
I mean, you don't do things like this. Somebody woke up and said, let me create buzz. Let me show how responsible the Tinubu government is in managing public debt, and just said, we have paid off the IMF loan. Factually, as we can see from this story, we have paid off the principal. But it just goes to show that as a government functionary, this person is incapable of dotting their I's and crossing their T's. If they ignored something like the charges, have you ever made a transfer online in Nigeria? Have you noticed that the amount you transfer is always has 45 naira or 5 naira or 65 naira attached to it? If you go to an ATM and remove money, after the third time, a charge. So you cannot say, just because the amount that was paid off equals the amount that was borrowed, that you are not indebted. We are indeed indebted to the very same IMF. But more than debt or no debt, let's get some fundamentals right. The first statement, in the first 38 seconds or so of being President Bola Tinubu said subsidy is removed. Fact. And with that, he created a cost of living crisis. I always go on record as saying I was a subsidy removal hawk. I supported it when President Bola Tinubu and his co-travelers objected to it in 2012 when President Jonathan did it. I'm on record. Here's the issue. At the time, there were some things put in place to try and cushion the effect. You may debate their effectiveness or not, but there were efforts made. What has been done to help cushion the lives of Nigerians? I just want to put it on record. In 2015, public debt was 12.6 trillion naira. Over the years, it has climbed in 2025 to 187.3 trillion naira. Ask yourself whether in the past 10 years, like many people say, debt is inevitable for certain development. So I'm not quarreling now with the amount yet. I will quarrel with the amount soon. When you're taking debt, it is expected that you take debt to move the ministry forward, wherever it is, to the more permanent site. Indeed. Can anybody tell me that in the past 10 years, with this accumulation of debt, Nigeria has moved any closer to the permanent site in any single arena? Healthcare, education, industrialization, power. Tell me. Security. Tell me where this huge debt has actually led Nigeria. Nowhere useful. Indeed, I would argue that this debt has just risen and risen. The stock of the political class has risen and risen. The quality of the vehicles that they buy, sail, and fly, which include presidential yachts for the sailing, presidential jets for the flying, and presidential Cadillacs for the driving, including 100-vehicle convoys when they visit Lagos, has gone up. Some bulletproof, non-bulletproof. But as I said before, it is a clear indication that the only natural disaster Nigeria has been dealing with has been the quality of leaders and leadership we have been saddled with. And I say this because somebody gets up in government, wants to garner a headline and says, we are paid a debt, does not even bother to check the terms and conditions of that debt, and has the chutzpah to come out and announce such an asinine statement. Listen, The debt is around the necks of Nigerians, even though it's in the name of Nigeria, the country.
Even
it's
unborn.
you and me who are now indebted because of the poor choices. And let me also remind us, not a few days ago, every week we always hear $100 million for this, 102 billion for this and that. Remember,
Right,
2-3 weeks ago, billions are being lent to us. For what? Let me tell you, the reason why we removed the subsidy was supposed to have savings. The savings have not come to us. Instead, governors have gathered together once a month in Abuja and spend nearly ₦1 billion on tea and crumpets. Because you go to a committee meeting, you drink so much tea. I'm just here to tell you that we are in a very bad place nationally. And the reason why we keep borrowing is that the little, no matter how little it is, we're supposed to be earning from oil. We refuse to put in the lives of people. Instead, we put it in this waste, the wastrel class of politicians and their toys, and we don't put it in the people. So that is why we're in debt. And at some point, we must have a reckoning. But this headline was extremely misleading, pathetic, careless, and actually quite typical of many of the government functionaries that we have been dealing with, the disasters, as I call them.
All right, let me take a message or two before I come back to you, Joseph. This is a message from, let me see here. This is Egono. She says, Joseph and AB, spot on with your analysis. P.S. We don't have leaders, we have people in government. Really and truly. Stanley M.O. from Ikotun says, our leaders are our only natural disasters. So imagine a country where only during election periods, emergencies are being treated with urgency because of public votes. Even then, are emergencies actually treated with urgency? That's a question that I would really love an answer to. This is Sunday earlier. He says, I don't believe that any debt has been fully repaid. It's so appalling that as a Nigerian, I can't even believe supposedly good news because we have all seemingly lost trust in leadership of this country at all levels. I beg they should shift, Jerry. Sunday, calm down, relax. All is going to be well. All is going to be well. Okay, let's get back into the stories. And then, Joseph, let's talk about matters concerning security here. This is coming out with Punch. The Defense Headquarters has attributed the recent spate of violent attacks in Benue, Plateau, and other parts of Nigeria to foreign herders who have infiltrated the country through its porous borders. Speaking during a press briefing in Abuja on Thursday, the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Kangi, said linguistic and physical evidence suggests that many of the attackers are not Nigerian nationals. I can go on, but I will pause there and say that this sounds oddly familiar to a lot of stories or a lot of declarations we've heard, specifically concerning their foreign nationals, porous borders, and so on and so forth. This just feels like another episode in the same series we've been watching for a while.
Look, Ayo, it should concern us if our defense officers, defense, a major general will come and tell us this kind of news as a discovery, because we all already knew. We didn't need to be told. Nigerians knew. El Rufai said it when he was in government as a governor. He said that if foreigners are those who are causing trouble in Nigeria. But for 8 years, we had a president who was more interested in his ethnic agenda than open up Nigeria for all of this to happen. And instead of us facing this matter squarely and treating it with urgency it deserves, we're still playing politics with it. So what does the Defense Headquarters want us to do, you and me, Ayo, AB? What should we do about this information?
Give solutions,
because
perhaps.
You will expect that if they have discovered this, they should go back to the drawing board and synergize with the relevant government security agencies to see how they are going to stem this in the board, how they're going to nip it in the board and stem the flow. Because all over the place, I mean, a time will come where the entire Nigeria becomes a theater of war. as it's gradually becoming. And then your military is expecting that you can't even, and that in itself can be a strategy of terrorists to overwhelm you, because if they now divide your attention across different theaters of war, you can't handle the situation. So how do we, I would expect that a major general has some basic tactical training about how wars, asymmetrical wars are fought and so on, or guerrilla warfare and things like that, which is similar to what we are experiencing. So why it come out to the public to tell us, oh, as if you made a fundamental discovery, oh, that these people are foreigners, which analyze their linguistic answer and did that, and then so what? So we should go beyond. Our public officers must remember that they are there to serve people, and what a reassurance does this give us? What I would have expected the defense headquarters or the Ministry of Defense to come up is that this is what we have come, and this is the measure we are taking to contain this, and these are exports we are taking. Instead, it was reeled out as one of the major achievements they have made among the rest of those who are into oil bunkering. We did this one, we did this one. So one of the major achievements is they discovered that these people are foreigners. I mean, it's so shameful, it's disgraceful.
Can't you clap?
That,
Joseph, can't you clap?
Maybe I'm as patriotic as Ayo. And I'm unable to celebrate this wonderful discovery our military made. Honestly speaking, is it today we know that we opened up our borders for foreigners to troop in because we have cousins from Niger Republic and Chad and everywhere else who are looking for land? And we try to get them land through a project we call Ruga or no whatever. And it didn't work. So the best way, open the door, let them come in and then grab the land by themselves. And we're playing politics with it. We don't want to call the spade a spade. So there's the reality. And then some major general comes to tell me that he just discovered that. He just discovered it. Man, that is wonderful.
You know what? Thank you, Joseph. AB, I know that we had an agreement on the order that we're going to take the story this morning, but
thank you. Go ahead. In fact, I want to tell you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know where I'm going with this one, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, now looking at all that, looking at what has been said in the last couple of days, especially the defense minister talking, talking recently. Now, this is from the Punch. The Senate leadership on Thursday cautioned the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, against making public statements that could create friction between the National Assembly and the executive led by President Bola Tinubu. Now, the warning came after Badaru publicly dismissed a planned two-day national security summit by the Senate, stating that such gatherings were unnecessary in addressing Nigeria's security challenges. Now, the person who is charged with defense has said, this summit that you are thinking about doing is pointless. It's not going to yield anything. We need to do things another way. And the immediate reaction is you are pitting the lawmakers or against the presidency. And I mean, what exactly is all this?
So, Ayo, the challenge that the Nigerian Senate President Godswill Akpabio has with a statement by a high-ranking member of the administration, the Minister of Defense, is not that Nigerians are being killed in their hundreds. It's not that millions of Nigerians are displaced. It's not that the generality of Nigerians travel with our hearts in our mouths. The problem that Senate President Godswill Akpabio has is that by saying this, by opining about the use or uselessness of the proposed security summit, the potential exists for the Senate to be pitted against the president. Wow, what a challenge that might be. What a priority consideration that is. Let us, for God forbid, have a situation where the Senate and the presidency don't see eye to eye. That would bring back hundreds of lives. That would make Nigeria's economy flourish. That would make the foreign exchange rate go down and improve power and productivity in Nigeria. Please do not opine that this a proposed Senate meeting and yakking with all sorts of allowances, I should add, which are part of why we have this humongous debt. If we have an opinion about it that is not complimentary, you might pit us against the presidency. As a normal, non-connected Nigerian citizen, I say, who cares? When they have been together, how has it benefited me as a Nigerian? When they have been working hand in glove, when they have been acting as what people call what I included call a rubber stamp Senate, a Senate that doesn't even follow its own rules to have a voice vote for a function, a Senate that goes into closed door sessions when crucial matters that have constitutional consequence are discussed, a Senate led by a lawyer of no less quality and history, but like Godswill Akpabio. He's a lawyer. If he were me, a non-lawyer, and I do something, I can get away with it. He doesn't have that excuse. So when he's now telling me that, don't say anything against the summit, you will make the president and us not have an agreement, I don't care. All that I care about is that fellow Nigerians are dying on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, and sadly, I've been doing so for over 1 decade. So listen, the only thing I'll say about the minister is saying that he said that Nigerian army is better equipped than the terrorists. I agree. In fact, I will go to the bank, including GT Bank, and swear that Nigerian army is well armed, well equipped, and well trained, and can handle anything put in front of them if they are fighting the same war as their opponents. However, we're doing asymmetrical warfare. As Joseph said, it's like guerrilla warfare. You can, if you have a hammer and you have a fly on a piece of glass, you cannot use a hammer on that piece of glass. You will destroy everything and you might miss the fly. They have to use a different strategy more suited for this kind of asymmetrical warfare. And I know the time is running out. I'll just say this. I'll say this for the last line. I don't care, Mr. Godswill Akpabio, Senate President, that somebody said something about your proposed security summit and it may pit you against the president. That has absolutely nothing of value to add to Nigeria, if that is the only concern. You can have your conversation. Somebody can even disagree with it. That doesn't stop you from having it. But to say the main problem is, oh no, we might be pitted against the presidency is one of the most useless things I've heard coming from the Nigerian Senate in recent times. And there have been quite a few useless things.
All right, AB, I can feel the heat on the show this morning. It's heated up. It's heated up, and I love it. All right, let me take your messages. Time has flown by, man. Cisco Delgado says, "Good morning, guys. Please don't crucify Ayo. We are highly indebted for sure. I mean, Cisco, thank you. I'm only the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger at the end of the day. That's all I am. Bearing the news." And Jay Olodinoa says, "I quite agree that our natural disaster is leadership. In the US, the only number you call in case of an emergency of any kind is 911. And in minutes, you get a response. God help us. At least that's a number that everybody knows. It's in fact, even we non-Americans
foreigners know that there's 911 in another person's country."
Tony Inisola says, "Thanks so much, AB, for your analysis of the debt story. I was so shocked by the way some people celebrated the story of the country supposedly paying off the IMF debt." Barrister Danukuda says, "There's nothing wrong in borrowing as long as it's channeled to something productive. What is wrong is using the money for profligacy." Yes, indeed. That's what we alluded to this morning as well. Jerry says, okay, good morning to you, Jerry. Says, "I just want to respond to the effectiveness of the palliative called You Win, put in place by the Jonathan government to ameliorate the effect the removal of subsidy would cause. My wife won 10 million naira to set up a dry cleaning business, which we still operate. The money came directly from the CBN without our knowing anyone or anyone asking for 1 penny from us. So that one was upright, I can tell you." And okay, let me take a couple of more of your messages. Oluwaseyi says, "Thank you, Mr. AB. I wouldn't have said it any better. As for non-Nigerian nationals coming to kill Nigerians, pillage and carry out systemic ethnic cleansing, Former Governor El Rufai said it a long time ago now. What did the president of that time, who was of the same ethnicity, do about it? What is the present president from a different ethnic group also doing about it? Questions on marble. Dada in Ogba says, good morning to you, Dada, that foreigners are the ones coming in to kill our country people is absurd. How did they come in? Where are the monies voted for military items kept? They are fires created as a result of religious brotherhood and desires to win elections. El Rufai knew what parts he played and others. No peace for the wicked. Gilbert Musa says, he's in Festac, by the way, on the recent statement from the Defense HQ on security status in some states, it calls for the need to have a modern state-of-the-art database system that can track data of people in communities and local government areas alongside local security operatives. Gilbert, let's even have a database first.
When you cannot even know your citizens, you don't even know them.
You have a database. Do you have lights to keep the server functional? Have you gone to get your NIN renewed? Every time they tell you no network.
AB, now who is being unpatriotic? Let's have a database first. We're not talking about state of the art later on. You walk, then you run.
Really. I hear you, Ayo. I hear you.
Kali says, AY, the level of sarcasm today. Well, sometimes. This is Chika. Chika says, the statement by the defense spokesman that the attack on Benue Plateau and other parts of Nigeria are being carried out by foreign herdsmen is another affirmation. Let me see, another affirmation to the statement by Professor Yusuf Usman that President Tinubu is irritated by the issue of insecurity. My question is, are the foreign herdsmen more powerful than the Nigerian defense, or are they telling Nigerian people that are being killed every day to see it as the will of God? As for me, nothing else matters to the president than politics of 2027. Okay, I think I saw a comment or two on YouTube. Habib says, I love the sarcasm of AB and a brilliant sense of humor from both AB and Joseph as well. All right, thank you for your kind thoughts and thank you for all the messages, and a big thank you to you, AB and Joseph, for making it a heated up Feel Good Friday morning on Freshly Pressed. Always a pleasure.
It's always the nature of the stories. We react to what we see, and exactly. I believe I'm reacting in the best interest of Nigerians as a generality. It's not personal. So for those who celebrated the paid off loan, congrats to you. Put your hand in your pocket and pay off that interest. Have a great weekend, guys.
Oh, well, I would say that it's been fun. It's sad that we are making light of very serious matters, but it doesn't take away the seriousness of the situation. And we hope that somehow Nigerians are touched to really know that we don't have any other country.
We don't.
We can do better. Honestly, we can seriously do better.
Much better.
Yeah. So yes, on that note, I wish everybody well. Have a wonderful weekend. Ayo, Ibi, it's always a pleasure being here.
Always a pleasure having you.
Wonderful weekend.
All right, AB and Joseph, have a great weekend. And thank you all for keeping it tuned to Smooth 98.1. The fun doesn't stop, because from fireworks talking about the news, we're going to talk about what's going on in the sporting scene. More fireworks coming up in the locker room at 8:15.